Hey everybody, it's Paul Ribsy with Dr. Manny St. Victor. We kind of have a bonus episode. That's nice, right, Manny?
It is. It's generous indeed.
So I couldn't wait. For us to talk about this later. I was too curious about it. So you're being so nice to me to give me a little extra time this week, and I found this article in Scientific American Online that it was titled "Memories Can Be Edited."
Yep.
And it was talking about advances in how changing memories could hold great promise for people who suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome. Um, and so I wanted to ask you a few questions about this, and I don't expect you to have all the answers to this, but I thought you could at least sort of give me a primer about this.
Yeah, man. Prime up. I'm ready.
Okay. So the idea of the article is that for some reason, human beings have difficulty getting over traumatic memories. They have a hard time like reshaping their understanding of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that there seems to be something in the way that memories are codified in the brain that makes that happen. And so what these researchers did was they started looking at plasticity, and they were like thinking, could we rearrange a set of neural connections to help people get over these bad memories? But what they found is that distant memories, so like, you know, something happened to you when you were a kid, or maybe you served in the military and you're home now, but it was, you know, years ago, and you have these traumatic memories, that somehow there's some kind of a chemical lock that keeps those memories from being adapted or modified.
Yeah. Did they say methylation? I haven't read the article, but I'm suspecting that it's something methylation related. If it's epigenetic.
It said I can pull it up real quick. So
Okay.
it said that during the rectification of a previously formed memory, the neurons reorganize to accommodate the new information. This plasticity is what enables us to select, archive, and connect incoming data about the world in real time.
Mm-hmm.
But then it says, but these older memories, for some reason, don't seem to be up for that as much. So they started looking at epigenetics
Yeah.
and go or stop modifications.
Yeah.
And they found that there's like basically they're looking at like a chemical that could unlock the memory. They didn't give a specific name to that process, but they used an epigenetic modifier called CI-994, which inhibits the enzyme responsible for removing the go signal.
Okay. Okay. Now, I guess the most important thing to get out of this part is the concept of epigenetics.
Yes, please.
Up until well, even when I was in med school, like the whole concept was that you had your genes, you are your genes, and that's that. Now, there's a layer of subjective experience that is the part that determines what gets transcribed. Your genes are this huge library that you have access to. Now, based on whether you exercise, how you eat, how you live, who you let piss you off, pardon my français, but basically the way that you experience life becomes the filter that determines what gets transcribed. And beyond that, what state certain things get passed on to your offspring. As well as one example of epigenetic changes is they found that I think they did this one with hamsters or some rodent. It might have been some mice, but the ones that were licked by their mothers more, like nurtured and cared for, they had different methylation, and taken further, their offspring had different methylation. So,
all right, so now you got to explain methylation to me.
Okay, so methylation is a way of it's called epigenetics because it's outside of your genome. It's modification in such a way that stuff transcribes differently, like so that your DNA behaves different. And they found that by attaching a methyl group, I'm thinking CH3, but organic chemistry and I saw each other twice in undergrad, and the second time was not voluntary. It was in the summer. Whew, Harvard flashback. That wasn't good. But yeah, so a methyl group is put on, and it signals a different transcription state. It changes the chemical structure of that part of your DNA string. It's a signal to not mess with or to mess with something. So it's sort of a stop and go signal, basically. So epigenetics, the finding is that your DNA is this library that, and including your neurons, that can be turned on and off and trigger growth, change, basically neuroplasticity of growth of these neurons. That's the power of the epigenetics. So it becomes, you are your genes, but you are also your life experience.
Okay, so this is what's cool. This is what I'm so glad you just said this. This is why I wanted to talk to you about this article, because if these scientists are saying that they think they can use a chemical to change the stop and go modifications, but what you said about epigenetics holds true, then doesn't that mean that with hypnosis we could create epigenetic changes?
Absolutely. One of the most powerful ways to trigger an epigenetic cascade is through cognitive reappraisal. Okay? We found that in any given situation, if you can take a step back, take a breather, and redefine the situation to yourself, your entire catecholamine, your epinephrine, and your chemical cascade, you can change that. You can go from fight or flight to, oh, it was just a breeze in the woods. Okay? The power of that is that when we start thinking of how we feel as a cascade of like enzymes, a cascade of immunoglobulins, a cascade of things that you control with the breath, think it through, and don't react. Don't reflect, don't react. And what you're doing is, in the time that you're thinking through, you're retrieving the memory. Now, by reappraising, you're re-encoding the memory, but in a reflective way where you're in control, instead of re-encoding the fear memory right back to this rapid loop of PTSD. You take the thing back and you give it a new meaning. Like if you freeze up and you know that you're in a safe place, you re-anchor that freeze up response, or whatever the trigger was, the conditioned stimulus, you re-anchor it to, oh, it was only a tire backfiring. And incrementally, you give yourself power over that fear trigger. So cognitive reappraisal is the mechanism that we found to take control of your epigenetic cascades. So that's the mechanism of neuroplasticity. That and deliberate practice.
All right. All right.
It's hard, but it works.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard, but it works. That's the bottom line. It's not pleasant. It's deliberate. It usually takes an outside person, and
when I first got into hypnosis, Manny, I had this wonderful man who started teaching me, and one of his favorite techniques was when he would work with people on emotional stuff that was not nice, right? Like when he was trying to help people, he used to do this technique where he would have them imagine, he would get them in hypnosis, and then he would have them visualize in the hypnotic state themselves sitting in a movie theater watching the movie of the memory on the screen.
Yeah, that's the dissociation approach.
Right? So he created dissociation, right, so that they would feel safer.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about, like, what if you could do that with people who have, like, PTSD activators, right? Like something where certain sounds or memories or whatever, and if you could get them to the memory and give them that kind of an experience, could you help them stay calm enough so that they could do what you're saying, so that they could get that time to reframe without activating the whole loop, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the core mechanisms. It's a dissociative viewing of an experience, allows you to re-encode the memory from basically a third-person subjective point of view, where you can say, okay, this is it. This is me. This is the person I was interacting with, or the event. Let's look at it from here, where we're safe with the distance. Let's make that the memory we have, because we're no longer there anymore. We're an observer. We can't change anything anymore, except for the memory of the experience. So let's focus on that. we're no longer in threat of death because it's gone now. It has passed. We survived it. Let's be stronger than it.
Yeah, very cool. Well, all right. That's all. I just wanted to kind of, I know that that would take a lot of more for practitioners. That would take a lot more sort of delving into the tactics and thinking about it on a deeper level. But I just wanted to talk with you about at least the idea of the potential that we
Yep.
could use hypnosis in a healthy, positive way to help people modify memories. And so it sounds like, based on what you're telling me, that that potential is definitely there, and I think that's awesome.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right. So if you guys, if you think this is cool, if you have more questions, follow up with us about this. If you have experience using hypnosis to help people modify memories and you know, give them a new tool in their toolkit, drop us a line and let us know. Very cool idea, very cool topic.
I like it.
Yeah. Thank you, Manny.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, you guys check us out. We'll see you next time on Hypnotic Thoughts. Head over to Google Plus page, Hypnotic Thoughts, and of course, hypnoticthoughts.com.
Yes.
Yes. All
Take
right.
care.
See ya.